You have clicked on a History in the Hand metal detecting video.
Something of interest. Do I see a D buckle? A bale seal. I recognize that shape. A double-bladed axe head. I know what that is right away. I'm entertaining guesses. Overall buckle or a suspender buckle. On to the next. That is our rusty hinge. There's always a rusty hinge. A weedy. This is a kerosene lamp wick adjuster.
Well, hi folks. It is October, but it is super warm. I'm sweating through a t-shirt. It's kind of crazy. But today we have returned to the site of this house. Already found a bunch of Indian head pennies, a really cool boot heel plate, Civil War era. We found a bunch of cool stuff here. But today we're going to get out away from the house, and it's going to be interesting. It's nothing but leaves. Today we'll definitely be using the earphones. So come on along. Let's see if we can get some history to hold right in our hands.
Can you imagine trying to hear a signal from your detector without wearing headphones? It would be just about impossible. Our first hole reveals a small signal, a tiny little fine threaded, a little nut. So that's kind of curious. Well, I had two holes here, and I thought maybe I'd have pennies, but I got copper. That's part of it. Ooh, there's a coin. That is Mr. Lincoln. It's a 1940 something, 47. So we're about to break loose and get super pretty here in the fall. But something has happened recently. The archery season has kicked in. So I pretty much am relegated now to lawns and fields. Otherwise, I will probably be disturbing hunters, and I know how frustrating that is, so I don't even want to do that. So it's lawns for me, which means leaves. It's a 1940 something, 47. On to the next. Wow. Not really sure what that is. I think this was for an old stereo speaker to put a speaker wire through and tighten down. That's what I think this is for. I don't know for sure, but that reminds me of something that I used to have on my record player at home, which of course dates me.
Well, as you can see behind me, I've gone around and around and around that tree back there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back over to the front of the house. Again, this property, there was a house here based on the Indian head pennies I've found. It was here in at least the 1860s and 70s, because I found Indian head pennies from then. We'll see what we can find over there, see if we can find something interesting. Come on along.
81, 83, down in the hole. Something of interest. Do I see a D buckle? Yes, I do. A little brass D buckle. And that is, our goal was to hold history in our hand, and by golly, we're doing it. Yep, it appears that the tongue that came out was iron. Of course, it's rusted away. And the buckle itself was made of brass. That's cool. All right, that goes in our interesting things box. Well, this certainly appears to be a bale seal. And it has markings on it. K-N KIF. But it's heavy, it's lead. So KFG-4 or SFG-4. Then it says 925. That's cool. A little bit of history back in the agricultural days. On to the next. Very nice high tone. Aha! I think that is, yes it is. That is our rusty hinge. There's always a rusty hinge. Cool beans. All right, that goes on the good side just because it's one of the hallmarks of digging around old homes. You always find a rusty hinge. Mm-hmm. A weedy with a lot of green on it. I see 1939. I would almost expect that. Here's a little trick I use. I use my handle sometimes to pound a plug back in if I don't get it quite turned over perfectly. We have ourselves big iron. And by big, I mean big. And yep, I recognize that shape. Do you? That is a double-bladed axe head. That is beautiful. Looks like this side was round and this side was kept a little bit flatter, maybe for a different purpose, but that is yet another. And oh my goodness, there's a lot of these in this area, but of course this was a logging area originally, and then farming after that. So axes were used in logging, and they certainly were used around the farm a lot. I think it was just a regular part of life in the 1800s. One of these days I need to try to clean up some of these. I've probably got a dozen of them. But that's a piece of history right there, and we're holding it in our hand. Really cool. I wish this could tell stories. I know what that is right away. That is a kerosene lamp wick adjuster. And, yep, not uncommon. And right here next to the house, I'll bet it wore out, and got the heave ho right out the window. Now, interesting, this might have some writing on it, enough that we can, sometimes they put a patent date on there. But wow, this one had a really wide wick. That's an 1.5 inch wick. Most of them are 1 inch, and some of them are 3/4 and even 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch. But this is the combustion chamber. This allowed oxygen to go up through. Often there would be a date there, but oh boy, you'd have to have pretty good eyesight. No, I don't think this is writing. I think that's just actually decorative. Yep, that just looks like decoration. Let's keep looking. I've pulled a lot of coins out of this lawn, but it's interesting. things still keep coming up. Very nice. Nice high tone. Well, brother, looks like I was not as accurate with my plug as I would have hoped. In keeping with the theme, right there at that hole was a kerosene lamp wick adjuster. But over here we found something completely different. This is a kerosene lamp wick adjuster. And I'm not sure why they just got chucked out the window. I know a lot of times the little gears would wear out and it would no longer push the wick up, and then they were a fairly standard size to screw in, and I think a lot of people would just go get another one at the general store. Oh, that's cool. That's 2 in a row. On to the next. We have a penny in the hole also. Sunshine helps a lot. Yep, 1934. So that is 90 years old. Finding a lot of things close to the house on this beautiful autumn day. Another bullet shell. Got a high tone. Found us I don't know what you call it, an overall buckle or a suspender buckle. It's probably one in the same. Cool little piece of history right there. And this one, judging, I'm not good at dating these, but I do not think this would be back to the 1800s. I think this would be more 19-teens, 20s, maybe 30s, but still, we're looking at close to 100 years old. That's awesome. That is history right in the hand. That is fantastic. On to the next. More lead. Well, they must have fixed stuff right up here on this little plateau above the house, because this obviously just poured into the dirt and took the shape of the dirt. But all right, at least we know some of the things that were going on here at this homestead. We're putting together history.
Well, we're calling it a day. It's been about 2 hours, but we did find some cool stuff. Not an inordinate amount of old things, but let's take a look at what we've got just to remember what we found. Starting with the big iron, we found our double-headed axe. We found our rusty hinge, and there's always a rusty hinge. We found a bale seal. We found an overalls buckle, and this little D buckle with the tongue rotted away. That was iron. We found a brass washer and a little nut. We found some wheat pennies from the 30s and 40s. We found this little thing, which I still think was to tighten a wire down to make an electrical connection. This little thing, which I feel like I should know, but I don't. And also this, we found two lamp adjusters, and both of those were right outside the window, so they probably got the heave-ho. We found lead, we found aluminum, and we found copper. So, all in all, it was a great day. Found some cool stuff, and it was just amazing to be out in such beautiful autumn weather. I'm not used to getting bit by mosquitoes in October or sweating through a t-shirt, but nonetheless, that's what happened. I am really glad you joined me here at History in the Hand, and you are invited to return next time. We'll see you then, right here on History in the Hand.